you know what I keep seeing is people who want to embed AI like ASAP, but they don't even trust the data that's on their dashboards.
Yes. I think that AI has come in so fast and so prevalently that I think people have this sense of FOMO, and you hear all these reports. AI is going to take our jobs, so it's this rush for AI, but the groundwork to set it up properly hasn't been put in place.
Yeah, like people are going into boardrooms going, I don't know where that number is coming from, but hey, let's make the robot make a decision for us. So,
Yes.
um, cool. So, what we are going to talk about is how we can practically implement AI in businesses, but also what you first need to do. So, what are some things to look out for, some dangers that you might encounter? And obviously, we are here to talk about workflows, productivity, efficiency, and AI is beautiful when it comes to that. I'm very excited. Very excited for our business, very excited for the world, but we don't need to run marathons before we can walk around the pond.
Very excited for the 2 years of utopia before we all get wiped out.
I keep saying this to everyone. Everyone, I keep freaking everyone out. Do you know how nice it's going to be to live in utopia for 2 years? It's going to be the best, and then we're all going to die. And then, but it's going to be fun.
Who are we to stand in
The
the
way
way
of AI.
of human evolution? Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about the AI magic. We're going to get real today. We're going to get real about things that we've already implemented in our business, things that customers are doing that we're learning from. And like I said, some things that we need to look out for. Give me a few examples of this week when you've gone online, LinkedIn, Reddit. What are some interesting things that you've seen about AI, like narratives or conspiracy theories or ridiculous things? Like, what have you seen?
I haven't seen any conspiracy theories other than what we've just spoken about. We're going to get wiped out. I think that's just the inevitability of it. But I think everything I've seen on LinkedIn is AI. Like everything is either a new AI company, they're springing up at the rate of knots, peddling their wares. I think there's also, if I had to guess, 60-70% of the content is now generated by AI. I know that we we use AI for some of our content, but we do have a great marketing team who doesn't just copy paste. Um, yeah, I can't think of anything specific that jumps out. It's gone from zero to hero so quickly that it has, like you say, embedded itself within our day to day seemingly overnight.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because, I mean, everywhere clients that we deal with, what I'm seeing a lot is emails written by AI. And what's happening is it's so easy to spot, and it feels like you are losing the authenticity of telling your story. So I have bought products and services from people who cold email me. If I'm like, oh yes, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we were looking for, it immediately resonates with me. So people hate cold emails, but it does work because you could speak to the right person at the right time. This is why people do it. But what I'm seeing is people who do it lazily,
Mm.
people who just write one prompt and off you go and you get AI junk,
AI slop.
AI slop. So we use AI, like you say, in our business quite a lot. So what are some things you've done this week with AI?
Jeez. Um,
What haven't you done with AI? Is that the
I
accurate
think I think it's
question?
easier to ask what have I actually done myself this week without AI. Yeah, I think a big thing in our business is our new employee, Milo. We've named him Milo. Can't remember what that stands for.
Motherboard Intelligence Language Operator.
There we go.
Intelligent Language Operator.
There we go. Milo um, is Perplexity's computer, which we've connected to all our systems, and the productivity that it has unlocked is insane. It's incredible how it just runs through data sets from multiple systems to be able to pull together whatever you ask of it. A good example is we need to put statements of work together. So we'll run a scoping called draw out high level architecture. And sometimes we have multiple scoping calls. And we plug that in or just ask computer or Milo, hey, draw up the statements of work. And it is 98, 95, 98% absolutely perfect. Yes, there is the human intervention. We have to go through and make sure that we're not making Milo's making promises on our behalf that we can't keep. But just that alone, drawing up a statement of work, if we had to do it manually, would take 3 to 4 hours, say half a day to sit and write it out and do it properly. Whereas now it's 10 minutes, if that.
And when you started that, did you, like, how does Milo know what to put into the statement of work?
Well, funnily enough, Milo put together the template of what good looks like, and then we refined that and then fed it in and said, this is now our template for statements of work. Like, how do we run projects? What are our phases? Because the first few went way off tangent. So there is that, like I say, that human touch where you have to go and reprompt and get it right. But now it's at a point where it references old statements, references the template, and smashes it out in literally no time at all.
So essentially what it looks like is Milo gives you a framework, and then you go and adapt the framework based on your ways of working. And then you can feed that information into that structure. And I think this is exactly where companies are falling short, and where that AI slop is coming from, is that structure isn't there to begin with. And so what they're doing is they're just taking AI, what AI tells them to do, and they run with that. That refinement and going, this is our ways of working, isn't there. Now, if you are a very new company, I started an AI company yesterday because I had this crazy idea of ChatGPT doing something cool. I've built a landing page on Lovable, and now I'm taking my product to market. I have no idea what the process looks like to implement software. I have no idea what a QA process looks like. I don't even know what QA is because I've never done it before. And I think this is where lesson number one comes in, is AI is amazing if you have already burned your fingers because you know what good looks like. And if you had gone and say, write a statement of work, it can write a statement of work for a marketing agency, which we are not. So I think one thing that people need to be very, very aware of is it can only be as good as the structures that you have in place today.
Correct.
That is a really good example of how things can go haywire. So do you have an example of that?
No.
Not yet.
No. Well, yes. I mean, I've had AI where you go and you ask it a question, and then you reframe the question, and it just references it back, and it just gets into that loop, and then I start swearing at it, telling exactly where to go shove it. And that is like, I'm like, go and search again from scratch. Don't use your previous search, and yet here we are. I think one thing with AI, which is probably a top tip that people may not know, which I found mind-blowing, is if you go to an AI model and ask it, write me a prompt in order for me to do XYZ, and have it write the prompt of what it wants to see in order to have all the information it needs. Obviously, you need to review the prompt and make sure that that makes sense. But the level of detail that it'll give you gives it, if you do that enough, you start seeing, okay, these are the sorts of things that AI wants and needs in order to be a lot more accurate. And that also like saves a lot of time because it'll write a prompt that's like a whole page prompt. And you don't have to type that out yourself. And then you just review it, make some tweaks, and feed it back in, and voila, you've got your whatever your outcome or your output is.
I have found that if the prompt is too long, it doesn't work very well. I've actually found writing a very simple, clear prompt first and then refining it as we go, especially using something like Vibe in Monday. I've written an extensive prompt to build me an amazing vibe. And what I got was terrible. And then I went a step back and I restarted. And what I found, I think because I'm a data analyst, I think about the way that I will present the data. And I always start with the objective. So, what is it that I ultimately want to see on my dashboard or in my app? And I start with that to just basically build me the visualization. And then I go into the specifics of what information do I want to see? Why do I want to see this information? Why is it important? And then how do I step through that process to dig deeper? So start with like a high level. And then, so I think that's what I've learned quite a lot playing with Monday's AI tools, things like Vibe, building dashboards. I mean, dashboards is something that as a data analyst you deal with every single day. And now Milo is amazing using Monday's MCP to build dashboards using Monday's native dashboards. It's insane how much time we are saving building dashboards, but also just using Vibe and Net. I ask Milo to write me a prompt for Vibe using customer statement of work, or if I have to build a demo, just the framework. It's still nowhere close to where we want it to be because it can't think in workflow, which is really interesting. What I've found building Vibes and trying to build demos, I think our team has explored like how can we quickly build demos to show people the value of monday.com. And it can't do that yet because it can't think through the process. And I think because we've been doing it for such a long time, we know what questions to ask. I don't know. In my mind, I think this is when you work in Monday, when you start, you're like, I have no idea. I know lots of new starters that we've had recently, they sit on scoping calls with us and they're like, how do you know to ask that question? We're like, well, we've done this like 100 times. We know, oh, the second time we did it, I didn't ask these questions. The third time I did it, I did like, eventually you just learn naturally what questions to ask. And I think that knowledge is hard to translate and put into a prompt because I need to understand what the customer is saying to me, understand their business, and then translate that into a technical requirement. So
I think, yeah, 100%. And I think that's the human touch is, I think people who are really good at scoping and asking those questions understand business or can understand the pain points a business in a certain industry can have because they've either had the experience of working in a business similar to it in the same industry or a business that's had similar problems, or they have done enough scoping calls to know these are the typical things.
Common themes.
It's like common themes, it's common problems. It doesn't matter the industry. A good example is resourcing. I keep banging the drum about resourcing, but that is something that it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you need to do resource management and resource planning, capacity planning, etc., that is universal. And if you've had enough experience like dealing with that, you know what questions to ask. Whereas AI, I don't think would have that level of context and experience yet.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we've tried to build like a scoping agent, and I think just by trying to do it, we've learned it's not as simple as it looks. It's still a way off because of that nuances. And I think it's also when you pulling together experiences from different customers that you speak to. Yes, project management is project management. People have very different ways of running it. Some use stage gates, others don't. Some use dependencies across projects, some don't have cross project dependencies. So you run the risk of building something that's maybe so comprehensive that you spend 80% of the time asking irrelevant questions because it might be a really simple use case. Like we deal like really simple to major complex enterprise level PMO structures, and like being able to just know when to pivot away from a narrative because it doesn't actually apply is where we still have jobs to do.
yeah, exactly.
This week, I wanted to set up some email sequences. Email obviously is something that everyone uses quite a lot. or
Sadly.
gets AI to use.
Sadly.
And I want to touch on data accuracy. So you're setting up the email sequences. Oh, we've got a prospects board. We've had lots of different salespeople add prospects from Apollo or Lasher or Full and Rich. Like we've used so many different tools, and then inevitably our prospects boards just grows arms and legs, and there's columns that's irrelevant. So I wanted to set up an email sequence, and I knew instinctively, because I've used that board so many times, that my first name column for some of my prospects didn't have a first name in it. Now, if I had not known that, because I've worked in that data so much, I could have just let Milo create the sequence for me and email those customers, and it would have been a really bad experience and really bad. But what I got Milo to do is run through my prospects board on Monday, because the CP is connected, and it filled out all the first names in probably 20 minutes, because there was a lot. I think there was over 1,000 prospects in that board. How would we have done that previously? Because I know this is something you've done for me in the past. What was the process of having to do it previously, and how long would it have taken to fill out the first names in a column on Monday?
Well, if you have 1,000 names, well, we've got an app in the App Store called Paste, which would have copied. So we would have set up a formula column to extract just the first name, and then set up a status column as a trigger for an automation to kick off the app to take that and copy whatever that formula column is into a text column. I mean, it would have taken longer for sure, and it is manual. You have to go, because on Monday you can only update 500 at a time, so you would have had to do it twice. And then it could have had limits in the back end and could have failed a few times. So there's constant, yeah. I mean, it probably saved you 80% time that would have taken to do manually.
Yeah.
So what I also like about using AI for things like that is, because it's not manual, you say do it and you go away and do something else, and that's working in the background while you just sit there. I think a point you made earlier about sort of dashboards and using AI and Milo to build dashboards in our accounts, it's interesting, but I think the big one, and where AI is going to need a lot of human intervention, is database structuring. Because like you say, if the data isn't right, sure, let's give it to a robot and it'll no, it's going to junk in, junk out.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I think, going to become even more critically important, to have data structured in a way that it's easily accessible and readable and usable by AI, so that you can make it a lot more accurate.
Yeah. We have been through a very big exercise recently, doing exactly that for a customer to do resource, like building a dashboard in Monday's Vibe. And there's multiple boards that they use to plan their resources
in Monday.com.
In Monday.com. So they've got, for instance, a portfolio of projects that then gets assigned to a business unit, and they have different roles, and then they use t-shirt sizings, which is quite common across large organizations to use t-shirt sizing to estimate effort according to the role that you have. And this was a very big exercise. And when we first started going down the pathway of building this in Vibe, we really struggled for the data to be accurate. And it took us, I want to say, 2 months. Even with the help of AI, it took us 2 months to figure out how to get the data accurate, because essentially there wasn't common keys, and the data was coming from multiple places. There was the time tracking tool, there was the planning the portfolio of works, getting the projects where people log their time. Time is duplicated depending on how you add it into the dashboard. And we kept looking at the data going, this is not right. Then it will take us 2 days to go and find the problem. And even AI couldn't help us detect that, because it didn't understand how the humans work. And even feeding that data in multiple times, like where AI was really useful, is it helped us write SQL queries really fast in order to restructure the data to say, okay, is this a problem? Can we aggregate this? But it took us 2 months to get to the point where we could look at the data in the dashboard to go, it's accurate. And so that humans questioning the data and just that gut instinct of this doesn't, like, if you just quickly logically think a person can't have 80 hours in the week, a working week, that doesn't make sense. If you just look at the numbers, AI doesn't almost apply that human logic because AI doesn't have working hours. There's something as simple as that. It just didn't detect. And well, I'm very passionate about this because I'm a data analyst, but there's just so many examples that I keep coming across where AI is failing in business, and it's so quick for the business owner or the stakeholder to go, AI is trash, it doesn't work for our business, it doesn't understand our business, when the actual problem is the data, and that actually you as the business owner doesn't understand how your data works. Because how many organizations really have data people in the organization? At what, I don't know, maybe if a company has got 500 employees, do they start thinking about data?
It's almost like a bit late then because you've already structured your data. It's like a mass overhaul that you have to do to go in and cleanse and make sure that the data is accurate. If it's across multiple systems, to consolidate it, it's an uphill battle to get it to that point. But then once it's there, hopefully plain sailing from there. So yeah, companies running towards, like, everyone's running towards AI. I think I think there's a lot less. Well, I think there's two sides to this coin. I think there are companies who are risk adverse to allow AI free reign within their business because they don't trust it. Where's my data going at? Like, it's that risk aversion, which we found specifically, like, a lot in the UK. People are very risk adverse. So that's the one side of the coin. I think the other side of the coin, people who are willing and are running to adopt it, just don't know how, or don't know, like, use cases. Like, how do I actually use it other than to write me an email? I mean, when we brought Milo in, what blew my mind is watching it work. I know that's counterproductive because I should be doing other things to increase my productivity. But when we launched it for all of our employees, I specifically multiple times have said to them, put it in, ask it to do something, and then watch what it does. Read what it is doing, because that's when it goes, the light bulb moment happens, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
this is actually so much more powerful than
Writing.
going, oh yeah, please rewrite me an email.
Yeah. It
Um,
QAs itself. I've seen it run into roadblocks going, I can't find this document on your Google Drive. I'm going to go look on your Monday board. I can't find it on your Monday board. I'm going to go search in Slack if you've talked about this. I'm going to go look in your emails. It literally will go and find a pathway to try and find the information that you told it is there.
I have an exact example. Is I was doing my taxes for one of my little side hustles. We'll talk about that another day. And filing my taxes, and I download a bank statement. I put it in there, and first I said I need to file for this company. I'd already done it for another company, and it alerts me and said, this is not what you should be doing. This is not, the previous company was dormant. This is not a dormant company. So you're running down the wrong path. So first it flagged that for me. Then I fed it in my bank statements, and I literally saw it working it out, putting together financial statements and all of that stuff for me. It got to the end, and they're like, this doesn't reconcile. And I went and tried again, and then it came back and said, no, there's something wrong here. So I literally went and took screenshots out of the bank account and fed it in, and it's like, perfect, makes sense, boom, reconciled everything. But the fact that it knew that and was able to do it, and then it walked me through. I say walk me through. I said literally go and fill in this form for me, and it did. And I just had to review it and click submit. I mean, it's once you start getting into it, and I've seen it with employees as well. I'm thinking of Connor in particular. He's our lead integration specialist. He's gone from not using it to now, I don't think he does anything without using it, and he sings its praises, like, and everywhere on a group call he is going on and on about how he's using it and like what it's unlocked for him. And I think that if you do that and you go and you watch how it works and you try with different things, the only thing I've seen be adopted more quickly is our virtual office gather.
Yeah.
It goes, and I know in my life as well, personally, like first was ChatGPT, and that was like instant as well. You like, I've literally can ask it whatever I want. And
You were having full-blown conversations, walking on Alicante
Hundreds,
beach
yeah.
pier, not talking to me, talking to Alfred, your AI. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah, but from that to, well, in a business sense, like now that we're using Perplexity, it's the barrier to entry is so low. I think the next step with that is literally Iron Man. I can't remember what his AI is called, but where you just talk to it.
Jarvis?
Jarvis. There we go. Look at you.
No, I know it because someone that I work with, Paul, he calls his AI Jarvis because of Iron Man.
No, there we go. So Jarvis, that level of just it will, and it's 100%. You can do it via speech, but where it's always on, always listening, scary stuff, but you would just ask it questions and it would, whatever you can imagine, it will do it. And it's just going to get better and better. And I think that's what scares companies and businesses a lot is, if I don't do this now, I'm going to get left behind, because the pace at which it's coming is unbelievable.
Yeah. I think the danger of that, well, I mean, there's many dangers. It is, I mean, it's faster than anything we've ever experienced, I think. And yes, some people will be left behind. And I think the people that are going to be left behind are the ones who's putting their heads in a hole and going, this is not going to affect me. I met someone at a birthday party a few weeks ago. She's a lawyer and she refuses to use it. Absolutely refuses. And she's of the opinion that AI can't do her job. And she's like, oh, maybe in 5 years. And the reality is, it's not about AI doing your job. It's about how much more you can get done in your job using AI. The productivity gains. And I think people need to stop the story of AI is going to take my job. And I can understand why people are scared of it, because we read in the news every day of people being laid off because AI is replacing them. But then there's also stories. I want to say Klarna. I might have to edit this out if I'm wrong. But I think Klarna actually had to rehire their staff because they replaced them with AI and then realized, oh my gosh, this is a huge mistake. So I think that in itself is a story of like someone that went too fast too quickly.
Yes.
Go fast, but do it
with guardrails.
Not just guardrails, do it with intention.
Yeah.
Like educate yourself. The best thing you can do is try. Can it do this? And like you say, watch it, see what the possibilities are, and then go try it. Like things that I've seen in the last month. So like you say, we gave Milo to, we had a company meeting and everyone voted for Milo's name. So democracy. Kayla wasn't happy, our marketing manager, because she hates democracy now because it wasn't the name that she would have chosen. Sorry, Kayla. I forgot what I was going to say. So what I've seen as an example, as a small business who's fast growing, we don't have time to go do monthly reports like you would do in a big business. This is our monthly marketing statistics. This is our monthly financial meeting. And in the last month, we've just gone, use it. Like we don't look at the credits. Ivana, our head of finance, it's a worst nightmare because she can't predict how much money we're going to spend on AI this month. Because we just like, I don't care. I will pay for credits, users, so that we can actually learn what it's useful for and what not. It's the only way we're going to do it. And it's going to skyrocket. Okay, now if we can put in a nice chart here, skyrocket, and then it will eventually tailor, and then it will be at a point where we know what to use it for, and every day we'll find something new. But things this month that I've seen that employees have taken initiative on doing is, one, the marketing team now delivered a full marketing report for us because they were able to pull all the data in very quickly and analyze it for them. And some of our marketing team, like Nicole, is a researcher. She is a data analyst, so she can put the reports together. But again, knowing what information to present. So right now, head of finance has come and presented our monthly finance report to us. And now we're taking that and refining it, saying, okay, next month we want to see this. Now we want to see this. Things that never existed in our company because we simply didn't have the time and perhaps the knowledge or experience to know what should even be in this report. We are now getting insights into our business without data analysts because we have AI. We have Milo that goes and collects all the information and then pulls it together. So now we just have to make sure that our data is accurate. But again, just starting with seeing that report, I can go, that doesn't look right. I don't think that is right. Go and reprompt it, tell it to do this. So I think having data expertise in your business is important because if you're just blindly going to trust what it tells you, you're going to run into dangers. If it's going to tell you, ooh, this product is really profitable, but in fact, it's your sales team hasn't put in the data accurately, or there's dummy data perhaps in there because your integrations team were running tests, you could be in a tricky space. I think we are in a lucky space where we are still very hands-on in the business, but a lot of executives are not hands-on, so they won't know about the operational things that's bubbling underneath that could impact your data accuracy.
Yeah.
So operational workflows, would you say that's where businesses need to start? If they say, okay, cool, let's do this in a mindful way, where do businesses start?
Yeah. Well, I think on an individual level, people need to use AI. That's ChatGPT or whatever your preferred model is. But on the daily, just use it in your personal life to see the power that it can unleash, like that, the potential things you can do. See, it's so difficult, especially in a business. One of the things that we see a lot and we speak to clients about is, oh, we've just got access to Copilot. And that is the safe version because it's ring fenced, people trust Microsoft, etc., etc. I've never used Copilot, but from what I've heard, it's good, but it's not great.
It's not Milo.
So I think using the tools that you have and trying things, seeing what is possible, what isn't, and watching it work. I know, like I say, with Milo, Perplexity's computer, watching it run through its thought process, it's some of the things I've asked it to do is unbelievable. Where I haven't connected it to one of our systems, it's like, I don't have this connector, but you have given me this other connection. Like Google, I'm using like the Google Suite, so we use the Google Suite. So I think I hadn't given it access to Google Sheets or Google Docs or something, but I'd given it access to Google Drive. So it went and said, I can't access this link that you've shared, but I'm going to try a different way to problem solve to get you the outcome that you want. And I sat there and I was like, this is like insane. The fact that it knows where to go. So going off topic here, I think how people can use it personally in your personal life. If you have access to it within your organization, just use it for more than writing emails and just see what the art of the possible is. The more you use it, the more you realize the potential and the power that it has. And the more you can, I would say, push the limits of what you think it is capable of doing. Practice makes perfect. The big thing, especially for enterprise organizations, though, I think is the governance around that. And that is the scary thing, the risk aversion of, I'm not just going to open up all my company data to some private company in the US who's made some LLM. But that's not something that's like can be influenced by anyone other than the executive in that business. For the executives in the business making these decisions, I would say don't take the easy option. Don't just go and say, well, I'm going to flip this switch and turn on Microsoft Copilot. Go and look at what else is out there. Go see and understand the security risks, the governance risks, the implications of looking for something that is going to unlock even more productivity than just something that's the easy option. why I think that's a big benefit of actually going through that and looking at it is because every other enterprise is using Microsoft Copilot. You're incrementally getting as productive or more productive to the exact same degree that everyone else is.
So here's a controversial question. Will small and medium businesses who doesn't have that governance concerns, will they grow their companies faster? Will they innovate faster? And will they ultimately be the people that goes to these large organizations to educate them about governance and framework and how to use AI?
Yes, I think that's a hugely untapped market is AI governance. I think, like I say, there's a massive scramble on at the moment, and I think it's a bit headless chicken at the moment, but AI governance is going to become one of the biggest service delivery industries globally. You can take that to the bank. I will bet anything on that.
Yeah, I agree. And cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. Well, there's some scary stuff going on with that.
Yeah.
Another topic is, you mentioned sales, like AI and sales. So we are in the process of launching our AI for sales training course and how to embed and adopt and actually practically, not just pie in the sky, with actual, these are the AI tools you should be looking at for your sales team and how to use them most efficiently and effectively. What I know both of us have noticed, and I think it's going to get even more and more prominent, is that human touch. Like you mentioned, Klarna retrenching, making redundant however many thousands of employees in their, I think it was their customer service.
I think it's customer success, customer service.
And they hired them all back. And that is that human touch. People like dealing with people.
People buy from people.
You don't want to, I mean, imagine you go through an entire sales journey process, especially an enterprise sales process, and you're only dealing with an AI. Like that, we're a far way away from that.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to become more and more important, and that face-to-face meetings, and it'll get to the point where it's not even over video, because soon we're going to have video agents who are AI, and they look like a human. You won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
And then you say, come to my office, and some other dude's going to rock up and like, hey, I'm here to, like, well, what about the guy we've been speaking to for 3 months? Oh, is this my AI agent? You're going to lose a lot of credibility. So I think that face-to-face human touch is going to become like irreplaceable. And well, it already is irreplaceable, but I do think it's going to become more and more important as AI ramps up even more quickly. People want to
authenticity,
sit across the table from a human and be able to have those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, there's even AI influencers now. I think in Dubai or somewhere, it's huge. I think it's interesting because AI in sales marketing and sales was probably the quickest adopters because it's quite easy to implement. It's low risk. Go and find me prospects, write me an email to sell to them, find me the right person to speak to, what is their email. So in the sales environment, it's low risk because it's not current customers per se. It's like I'm trying different methodologies to get people on board. But it's almost like it's going to be the one to also lose AI the fastest because it's going to go back to, I want to buy from an AI. I want to buy from a human. Because I would imagine, as a company, you would want your AI agent to be the best salesperson, but it's never going to be a person. And so you're going to have to give it KPIs. Your salespeople have KPIs. Conversion rates. How many deals did you close this month? And if you build that narrative in terms of how the KPIs you measure your salespeople into an AI agent, the AI agent's number one objective is going to be to close the deal. And I think that can become quite aggressive and might put people off because it's going to feel like you're not trying to understand my business. You're not trying to help me. You're trying to close the deal. Because ultimately, that is what it's going to be measured on as being a successful AI. Oh, this AI is really bad because it's not getting us enough leads or closing deals. We're going to try another one. So it's really interesting how the first adopters in terms of departments is going to be sales. And I almost think it's going to also be the first detractors, potentially.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. I think there'll still be AI very well entrenched in sales for the prospecting and
Yeah.
outreach and all of that. So I don't think it'll go away completely, but 100%. I think the human touch and dealing with people, you like say, is irreplaceable. Um, I think what's telling and quite interesting is we use an AI note taker for our meetings, and they've launched, and they're not the only one. They've launched the ability to have an agent attend meetings on your behalf.
Yeah.
We will 100% get to the point
I can't wait.
where there are no humans
I
involved
want
in
to go
these
to
meetings.
meetings.
It's just going to be AIs negotiating and talking with each
Oh, I
other.
can't wait. Oh, it's so exhausting being in meetings all the time. Honestly, I can't wait. Well, listen, we are busy experimenting with building a recruitment agent. Like we have so many people we have to hire in our business. Like it's growing so fast. And what we generally do is 15-minute, just the first discussion. Who is this person? Just getting to know them a little bit, like a little bit of an icebreaker interview. Because also CVs tells 10% of the story. And it's what I've noticed recently is every single CV that I have reviewed, and I'm not even joking when I say every single one, is written based on the job description.
Using AI.
I literally cannot take someone's CV and say this person is best suited for the role, because if I open it up, every person is a 100% match. So CVs is becoming irrelevant. So the only way to overcome that now, currently where we're at, is every single person that applies, you're going to be interviewed by my AI recruiter.
Yeah.
And that AI recruiter is going to see if it can catch you out. So if you're applying for a job motherboard, be aware. Our AI recruiter is going to come. It's really hard now to like find CVs and not waste of time.
My favorite was the I think it's happened a couple of times, but there's people with their cover letters or their experience in their CV where they've copied and pasted out of AI, and they've literally copied the follow-up prompts out of ChatGPT. Would you like me to put this into something? And you're like, I know this is now AI slop, so thank you, declined.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, the perfect analogy of the human touch.
Yeah.
Well, that is human error as well, but going through and not just copy pasting and actually reading what it says and all of that. I think in talking about recruitment, it's interesting because you hear these stories of people applying for jobs and applying and applying, and they apply for like 300 jobs and get like 2 callbacks. And I think recruitment was one of the first to use AI to pass through CVs.
Yeah.
And it's the most ridiculous thing because it goes through, this is the job spec, these are the buzzwords, what is in their CV, do the buzzwords match? No, you're declined. That person could have been their best hire of all time, but because your AI says that word didn't match that word, sorry, we're not interested in an interview.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is, well, not only not fair to the people, but I don't think it's scalable. Like you mentioned, sales being one of the first detractors of AI. I think recruitment, and I have recruiters in my inbox on LinkedIn multiple times a day. Like it is next level stuff. We do all of our recruitment in-house. But I'm telling you now that AI touch in recruitment, going back and doing the grunt work to actually
speak to people.
Don't do the AI to match CVs.
Yeah. We
use AI in Monday.com because that's what we run our recruitment process for, to just pass and summarize CVs.
Yeah.
Challenging's fine. It's not saying yes or no.
I use it like trying to, do they mention Monday.com in their CV? Do they mention Salesforce? Like kind of any of the competitor products to see like have they used at least the software before, so they have an understanding of what's a work. Do they use the word workflow? So just we use it because, to be fair, when we post a job, we get people who are truck drivers that's never worked in an office environment. Like it's you can't. We get the moment the job posts, we get 100 applicants instantly. It's just not. We have to filter it through.
Yeah.
But now we have to find a name for our AI recruiter. He's going to be.
Steve.
It's not going to be Steve. I was thinking Tom. I don't know the word Tom. Tom sounds like a cool recruiter. It's easy, like easy. Hey, you've got a 15-minute interview with Tom. Tom sounds like I'll speak to Tom.
If your name is Steve and you think it should be Steve, reply in the comments.
If you're applying for a job at Mutherboard, don't write me a personal note and say you watched the podcast. I will search for the keyword podcast. Let's see. There we go. That's how we're going to do it. Okay. So, coming back to practical examples, like I really want people to walk away today we already said, okay, data is really important. Having the structure in place, yes, AI can help you create the framework, but you have to then go and apply your knowledge of your business and give it structure and like, what is your process? If your process isn't written down, you do not have a process. I want to make this very clear to everyone. If your process isn't written down, you do not have a process.
And not just written down, shared with all the stakeholders you should know.
Communicate it. Written down, first step, communicate, implement.
I saw we went to that BizX conference, and one of the things that stood out to me, one of the one-liners was, the biggest failure of communication is assuming that it's happened.
Oh, yes.
And I am 100% guilty of that.
We all are.
I will go and say something, and because I haven't expressly said, there's something that needs to happen on the back of me telling you this. So yeah, I think that's key. I think another thing that we've uncovered and chatted about but haven't expressly mentioned is when to use AI and when potentially not to. There are some use cases where the human touch just will not be replaced. And I think knowing the difference between the two, and it'll be different for every organization, but don't just, this can be automated, throw AI at it. Like, you need to have some thought process behind it. And again, that comes down to what is the process we're trying to solve for here.
So can you give a practical example of just as using our business as an example, what is something that maybe you thought about automating and you put the brakes on to say, actually, we do need a human to do this?
Well, I mean, we mentioned recruitment, and yes, we will have the initial 15-minute call using AI, but like we will never ever replace the full end-to-end recruitment process with AI. That will never happen.
Yeah.
Sales. Never say never, but yeah.
Sales. We are hiring lots of salespeople because we believe in person is extremely important.
If you are a salesperson and looking for a new role, holla. That is. Yeah, I think sales is a big one. The prospecting bits and cold outreach, fine, but again, that human touch, it has to happen.
One thing that I have found extremely useful for me in the past 2 weeks is I have asked Milo to go through all my sent emails for the day. So every day sometimes I work till 8, so I think it runs at like 5 p.m. every day. But at 5 p.m. every day, it will go through all of my sent emails and go through all of my sent Slack messages, whether it's in a channel or direct message, to see where I have told someone I will do something for them. And then it will look at my task list on monday.com. And if that task isn't on my task list, it will automatically go and add that task to my task list. And then, because I've set up automations to email me when a task is added to my task board, I get an email to my inbox to tell me that Milo has added a task to my board of something that I have to do. So that is something that's very practical, because I'll be like, okay, I'll do this for you. And if I don't write it down, it's forgotten. So that is like a very simple, even if you're using Copilot, Copilot, I'm sure, can read your emails because you're using Outlook. I'm sure it can look at your team messages. So, like, if you're using Copilot, that is something that can very quickly just help you stay on top of the things that you have to do as a starting point. And your task list might be on Excel, there we say it. I don't know. If you don't have Monday in your business, what do you use for your your tasks? What would you use in the Microsoft suite? But it doesn't have reminders.
I don't know Microsoft. I've got a Mac.
That's like if you're
Shout
using
out if you're a Mac user.
if you're using Microsoft, I'm really curious to know where you put things that you have to do that will automatically remind you to go and do them.
Well, we speak to a lot of people and they run entire projects, $1 million projects on Teams.
Yeah.
I suppose Copilot could help with that. Go through this Teams channel and find out what I need to do. Like,
Yeah, I think the danger,
projects, but that's more project, but that's also end of life. I don't
you
know.
know, I think the danger of that, like, people get over reliant on things like Teams. And I know we ourselves have fallen into that trap where we get very reliant on Slack. Like, Slack is my source of truth. Because if I'm walking to the gym or walking to the train, my Slack, all our projects updates run on Slack. And for me, that is, I know as a business owner what is happening across all our projects. Is there anything that needs to be escalated? Anything that I need to throw my 2 cents in there or whatever that is? And what we've done now is we've gone and said our project updates has to be on Monday and create the automation to push to Slack. So we all still have the visibility on Slack, what's happening, but our data gets captured on Monday. So it doesn't live in Slack because we miss things because it lives in Slack. And like, this is now a real question that I have for people who are using Microsoft, because we have fallen into it and we've pushed it purposely back into Monday, all our project updates, to make sure it doesn't go missing and that Milo can pick up when timelines slip, when updates slip, when task due dates, all of that. Like, it's now, I think our motherboard V2 running our projects now is like one of the best things that we've done recently in fixing our processes, which you've done. So well done. I think everyone is going to have lots of benefit from that. But I'm worried for people using Microsoft now. I'm starting to worry about this whole thing now.
When talking about like our motherboard V2, which is a board in our portfolio of projects in Monday.com, we just named it motherboard, is I've used Milo to review every hour all the calls that have happened through our AI note taker.
Mm-hmm.
Go and review the statement of work that's uploaded into Monday as a file. Review the statement of work. Review the call that was happened. And was anything requested that was not within scope? And flag it. It literally gives me an overview and says, this was discussed, this is not.
I've seen it, and then it logs it against the risk register.
No, it just logs it in a column, and I've put in conditional formatting so that it's red, and you can see there's something going on here. So it's like, that is a super practical way that is really easy, and it gets it wrong. Don't get me wrong, it does.
But it brings things to the surface that you won't necessarily think of yourself.
There's times when there's just a general discussion on a call about, oh, this is the art of the possible, we could do this, and then it flags and says this is, and you're like, no, everyone calm down. But it's at least flagging it so that we can see.
It's creating the visibility.
This is potentially something. And this is organization-wide, right? Mm-hmm. So to manage that individually is every person who's running projects taking accountability and making sure that they know at the drop of a hat what's in the scope of work, mm-hmm. and whether what is being discussed at that moment in time falls within that. Yeah. And that is very difficult, especially when they're running multiple projects.
Yeah, because they run 4 to 5 projects at a time.
This is AI adding a lot of value to our business.
And taking off mental workload of people, because I think that's the hardest thing. Scope of work is one of out of scope things coming up. Scope creep, that's the word I'm looking for, is something that we really struggle with as a business, because like you say, It's so hard. You maybe you're doing a marketing implementation, a CRM implementation, a project management implementation, a HR implementation. Maybe those are 4 different things that you're running. How could you possibly remember what you discussed with this customer today and another customer tomorrow? Like, it's really hard to remember all of that information.
And then you're a month into the project.
Yeah, you can't remember what you discussed on the scoping. You just, yeah, it's actually it's really difficult. And I think whenever we go to partner events, other Monday partners, they all like this is a common theme that keeps coming up and up and up.
I don't think it's a Monday partner problem at all. I think this is just the
Implementation.
nature of running
Project.
any sort of service delivery project. Is people, I think even the clients themselves forget what was originally
Yeah.
scoped. If it's a 2-3 day project, easy, like,
Yeah.
bang, done. But if it's like runs over over
3
a
to
month,
6 months are projects generally.
then you are at a place where there's no ways you can remember. The client won't remember, you can't remember. And I think with Monday.com especially, the fact that it's so configurable while you're going through the process, the client's like, we could do this in it. And we as a business or as the individual delivering, the implementation specialist delivering that project, they want to impress, they want to go above and beyond, they want to help the client. So it's that very real, like we want to delight you as clients. You are asking things that are well within our wheelhouse and we can definitely do, but it's not sustainable to run a business that way, especially as we're now growing and it's like so it's that balancing act. And having AI be able to flag that and say, this is something we need to look out for. And then if it is a risk, being able to click a button and actually log it as a risk, I think is going to be, I mean, we've only launched a week ago. I think it's going to be revolutionary.
That just made me think of something else, which makes humans very powerful, is when I look at all of our CSAT responses, the thing that makes someone give us a positive review is not how amazing the implementation was. It's the person that they dealt with. It always starts with the human. Oh, Jess was amazing. She's one of our implementation specialists. Connor was amazing. Like, they always talk about the person that they build a relationship with, that they engage with, because things go wrong. Every implementation, something goes wrong. It's just the nature of working with technology. You build something, you run into a hurdle, then it takes longer to implement because you have to find a workaround. With Monday, everything is so configurable. Like, we know everything. We always say, you can do anything in Monday. It's the pathway to get there that's not always clear. We can get there. We've done this before. Sometimes it's just figuring out how it will actually work. And sometimes it takes longer to figure that out. But there's always a way in Monday. And it's like the attitude and the relationship that that person built with the customer that ultimately results in them being happy. Yeah, the solution is a big part of it. But I would say 9 out of the 10 times is really like how they engage with the person who's their implementation consultant that determines whether we get a 1 or a 5.
I think a big part of CSAT is communication. And we've been beating that drum internally for a while now. Communicating with the client to let them know where you are at and what is going on, I think drives incredible CSATs. Even if it's bad news, as long as you are telling people, listen, I've run into an issue, this is what the problem is. This is how long it's going to take. At least they feel like they are informed. So that is one thing. And then one of the things that we're using AI to help with that is doing an end of week. We haven't implemented it yet, but we are going to be implementing an end of week email that goes out to every client on an active project, telling them these are the things that have been done this week based on what's been updated in the project boards. This is how many hours have been used. This is how many hours you have remaining. And it's just basically an overall status on your project. Every Friday afternoon you get it. This is what we've been doing. And make them feel informed and in the loop about what's going on. Because I think that is something that we definitely need to be better at. So that is something AI can do. Yes, there's no human emotion to it. It is just, this is where we're at. This is what's happened. But it's still that giving the clients information, communicating to let them know.
Creating visibility. I think when we get clients, the number one complaint, almost every client that we speak to that wants to implement Monday or integrations, it's about visibility. Why do people integrate? Because I want to see my information in one place. I want it to be as easy as possible that I can just go to one place and see all of that. And I think something like Milo Perplexity, where you can connect all your tools. Some days I get to 3 in the afternoon, I'm like, I haven't opened my emails, I haven't opened my calendar, because it all just comes through one place. I'm working in a whole different way. I'm working in Perplexity. And I'm just, give me this information. What should I do here? Write me this email, review it. Yes, send it, attach this document. I'm working by communicating with AI.
Yeah, I am getting super lazy now.
Or super smart.
Super smart. In our Google Drive, we have an NDA somewhere in our Google Drive. I don't know where it is.
Find my NDA.
Find my NDA. Boom. NDA.
Same with Panda Docs.
Yeah.
Here's the information that's in our CRM in Monday. I mean, we've tried to integrate Panda Docs a couple of times in Monday. Yes.
Don't get me started.
It's been a struggle. APIs are fragile. They change all the time. It relies on a human to go and update the API. Now it's just quick and easy. Plug it in, go update this, pull this information here, go add it to this document. Yeah, there's so much efficiencies that we have gained.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've given a lot of practical examples. I think we have highlighted quite a few areas that people need to be mindful of. So if you had to give one thing, one practical tip today, if you are a business owner in a small to medium, really fast growing business, and I am using AI, but it's not working for my business, what am I doing wrong? What is the advice you're giving to that business owner to go and understand why things aren't working out, but they might be going, oh, AI doesn't work for my business?
Very difficult without knowing what they're using it for. But my guess is they're using it to write emails. And it's way more powerful than that. I think for a business owner that's struggling to adopt or understand how to adopt AI, the first thing to look at is, are all your systems connected to AI? All your daily operational systems and tools and softwares, if they are not connected to the AI, you have the wrong AI.
Mm-hmm.
Like, end of story.
Simple.
Like, it's that simple. And then the second tip I could give them is phone us and we will show you
how to do it.
Literally the power.
Yeah.
And we'll use our own systems. Obviously, we're not going to share like personal information, but just what the art of the possible is to have AI, a connected AI, being able to pull large data sets and do it in a way that gives you the outcome that you want 99% of the time, and do it in minutes.
I would say don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Don't feel like you are going to be left behind. Don't be scared. If you feel like we don't know where to start, we have tried it, it doesn't work for our business, come to people like us or anyone else that you have spoken to that is using it and just ask and say, would you mind have a discussion with a human and say, like, this is my business, this is what we're doing, do you see anything that you think we can use for AI? Like, don't be scared to ask for help. You cannot drive a car unless you have lessons, and with AI you don't have to go do a course to learn how to use it. You just have to use it, but maybe you don't know the right questions to ask. So ask people that's already doing it, and maybe listen to more of our podcast, because I'm thinking we'll be speaking a lot more about this because we are so embedded, or it's so embedded into our work lives now.
And in such a short period of time.
Like literally within, I would say, a month, it's like, Anna, we can't take it away.
I think that's like who to go and ask about AI is also one. Like you could go, I don't even know if any of these AI companies have sales teams that you can go speak to. Like who do you go ask? You can ask someone, you could ask your friend at the pub, are you using AI? And
Yeah, just have a conversation about it.
I think companies like ours, like Mutherboard, are in a unique position in that we have spoken to thousands of clients in hundreds of industries with countless different types of
sales,
workflows.
projects, marketing.
Like, we have such a wealth of experience and knowledge in how different businesses work that really does put us in a position to advise people around how AI can work and fit into your existing work.
Yeah.
I mean, going to ask your garbage man or your local plumber how to implement AI is not going to get you very far. Well, who knows? Maybe there's an expert out there in those fields. But someone who understands how businesses work, someone who has walked the walk, and who knows not just a single industry. And I think like our type of business. So if you find someone who does like workflow automation, business process automation, those sorts of fields, just have a call.
Just have a conversation.
99% of the time, it's not going to be even chargeable.
Yeah.
Have the conversation.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. That's it. Then that's a wrap for today. I don't remember what the topic was other than AI and how to use it and be practical about it. So yeah, if you like a podcast, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and you'll get a preview of what the next topic is. Or maybe you won't, because maybe I'll change it last minute. But we'll keep everyone on their toes.
More chaos.
One last thing that I did want to say that I was thinking when you were talking about who to ask for AI help is that we all have to remember that there are very few AI experts in this world, because it's not a new concept by any means. It's not new. It's been around since like hundreds of years, actually, back to World War II.
I mean, before then, but yeah.
So it's not a new concept. How to use it in a business sense is still very new, and it's growing fast. And we are all on the journey of learning. And I think the advantage that we have is we are not scared to try, and we are not scared to fail at trying. And so we are learning faster on your behalf, and therefore coming to us means that we can tell you what to do and what not to do, because we've probably already tried and failed, or like learned what it works for. So go speak to people who's not scared to try, if you are scared to try, and then learn from our mistakes. Over and out.